They can pick up a first without getting a touchdown at the 1. They give this time to Stephon Hawkins. Bounces to the outside to the 5. It's a touchdown! That'll wake up the crowd.
Hi, I'm Keith Hunter, and this is the Bulldog Bark. And joining me, I've got legendary ex-Swanee football player, ex-baseball coach, tennis coach, golf coach. You name it, I believe you coach it. Coach Terry Mixon. How you doing, Coach? Are you involved in any athletics at all at Swanee High now? Or?
Not at the high school. I coached the Swanee Middle School girls softball team this past year. My granddaughter was on the team, and of course I jumped on it because had an opportunity to coach my granddaughter. And of all the things I've coached through the years, that was probably the most enjoyable to me. We had a great time, had a great group of girls out last year, and had a very successful season. So a lot of fun. When you first get your start in coaching, man, you're all excited, and everybody that goes into teaching, usually in physical education, like I did myself, and you want to go, you want to coach, and it was a very exciting time back in those days. And we had some great times, Keith, and we had some really good baseball players back in that day, and that was a lot of fun too.
Now, do you miss coaching? I mean, on the baseball level, or?
I miss it. I tell you what I miss, and I think a lot of coaches, as they retire, so to speak, from the sport after coaching so long, you miss game day. That's what you miss the most, and you miss the comradeship of the coaches that you work with, and those are things you miss. Practices, not so much after you do it for so long, but I really do miss game day and an opportunity to be around the other coaches. Man, I've coached a lot, Keith. I've coached boys and girls golf team. I actually started the girls golf team. We had a boys golf team for years, and I had a girl that came out, participated on the boys golf team 1 year, Kara McKeithen, a great golfer. And after that, I decided to get a girls team started up, and we did that. But I've coached JV boys basketball, coached Barney Cato back in the day, and coached JV football for Coach Jay Walls and Coach Mike Pittman both, and coached on varsity football staff for years. Coached a lot of middle school sports. Coached with Danny Robinson for a number of years over to middle school football. So a lot of years coaching, a lot of time invested, but well worth it.
I ran into somebody in Jacksonville, and we were talking about college baseball. And the guy had told me that he had played baseball in Tifton back in 1970s. So the first thing I said is, you probably know Terry Mixon. He played at A-back back in the 70s, 75, 76, somewhere around there. So he said, I've heard that name. Now, he couldn't place you, and I don't think he played with you, but apparently they must have had some plaques or something on the wall, or either some stats or somewhere, but he recognized your name.
Right. Yeah, that's, I left a plaque or two up there. I did. I had a couple of successful seasons up at A-back, enjoyed that tremendously up there, junior college baseball. And from that point, I went on to Georgia Southern College and finished my last 2 years, and just had a wonderful time playing baseball in college, and it's a great experience.
You talk about coaches, I know Kyler, but you coach with a lot of great coaches over the years. I won't ask you to rank them, but obviously you may have enjoyed coaching with some. If you could think of some of the coaches that you enjoyed just coaching with, I won't put you on the spot or anything, but some of the relationships that you built by coaching with some of the other coaches.
Well, I'll have to say right up front, I mean, I've enjoyed coaching with all of them. I'm just going to tell you, I spent a lot of years over at Swanee Middle School with Danny Robinson as the head football coach over there, and we coached for a lot of years. We started over there when they built the school in 1990. That's when I moved to the middle school, and I was there for 25 years, and Danny and I coached together probably for at least 22, 23 of those years. So we spent a lot of time together on the football field, and Danny's a great guy to be around. Of course, coaching over at high school with Coach Mike Pittman, Coach Jay Walls, that's the two guys I coached under. And baseball, Coach Etheridge, actually, when he moved here to Live Oak, he was my assistant baseball coach. And then when I left the baseball program, he took it over and had a lot of successful seasons there. And Randy's a great guy. We eat at the Dixie Grill about every morning for breakfast. So we stay in touch. And
Coach Bill.
Oh yeah, one of my favorites. Another guy that moved to Live Oak, and his first coaching job here was assistant coach for me on baseball also. And I see he's up in Georgia as a principal now, up in Eccles County. Keep up with him a little bit, and Wade's doing really well.
Coach, obviously the coaching experience. You've got a lot of former students that still call you coach, and yours truly as well. But and again, just the coaching profession itself has just been rewarding. I would think since you got into the profession a long time ago, back in the early '80s.
No doubt about it, Keith. And as you said, I hear around town, hey coach, and that's very rewarding to me. And it's just like today with me, and I'm not singling out any one of my coaches in particular, but Coach Charles Sweat was, I'm not sliding any of the other coaches I ever played for, but Coach Charles Sweat, my favorite coach I ever played for, and I still call him coach to this day. And he's a great guy, and it was very rewarding playing for him. So it's always good to hear you. I like still being called coach. Mr. Mixon doesn't sound quite the same. So it's been very rewarding, and I wouldn't change anything.
I would ask you your favorite player, but we're not going there. All right, Coach, I want to thank you for joining me again.
All right, thank you, Keith. Enjoyed it.
All right, I want to thank you, Coach Terry Mixon, for joining me on the Bulldog Bark. Coach Mixon graduated with my brother in the class of 1974. Anytime I talk to my brother Marvin about who was one of the best high school athletes to play at Swanee, the first person's name that comes to mind is Coach Terry Mixon. Basketball, football, baseball, golf, you name it, Coach Mixon could do it. Thank you again, Coach Mixon. And again, yes, you're always one of my favorite coaches that I played for at Swanee High School, especially in baseball. An outstanding coach indeed. Thank you again, Coach, for joining me on the Bulldog Bark. I now send it back to one of my favorite radio announcers, John Coke, and then back to the Coach's Show. I'm Keith Hunter, and this has been the Bulldog Bark. We'll see you next week.